In this demo, we'll see how we can set up image and text watermarks for our Matplotlib plots. Here is a simple Matplotlib line plot built using the plot functionality in pyplot. We're very familiar with this. Let's go ahead and add a watermark to this. You can call the ax.text function to add this watermark. The first input argument along with the HA and VA input argument specify where exactly that watermark will be positioned. You can see that the bottom left of our watermark is at coordinates 1, 4. Here is our watermark text. We want this plot to not be distributed outside our company. It's in font size 30 with the color red. Watermarks are typically specified with a lower opacity value as compared with the rest of the figure so that they fade into the background. The opacity here is set by the alpha parameter and is just 0.5. The same watermark can be positioned differently by changing the HA and VA input arguments. HA stands for horizontal alignment, which is to the right, and VA for vertical alignment, which is the top. Here, the top right of our watermark is at coordinates 1, 4. Let's generate some X values. We'll use these in some visualizations below. We can set up a Matplotlib figure and add a specific subplot at a particular position in a matrix grid and associate a watermark with that subplot as well. Here, the larger figure has been divided into a 2 by 2 matrix, and this watermark is for one subplot in this figure. We set up the same 2 by 2 matrix with a subplot and a watermark associated with that subplot. We'll then add two more subplots within this figure, showing the sine and the cos curve for our randomly generated X values. And in the resulting figure, you can see three subplots, but only one of these at position 1 has a watermark associated with it, the do not distribute watermark. This clearly brings across the fact that the remaining two visualizations may be shared, but the first one is private to your team or your organization. If your entire figure contains plots that are private to your company, you can associate a watermark with the figure as a whole by calling the figure.text function. Figure level watermarks are used to indicate that all of the visualizations within this figure belong to a particular team or a company. All of these are property of Pluralsight in our example. The input arguments to a figure level watermark are exactly the same as axis level watermarks, except that X and Y coordinates are specified in terms of fractions of the figure width and height. The bottom left of our watermark is zero point 0.1 away from the left edge of the figure and about halfway through, half the height from the bottom of our figure. We'll now read in an image and use an image as our watermark. For this, we require the image and cbook modules from Matplotlib. Our current working directory where we are writing all of our code is in projects Matplotlib, and within this directory we have the Pluralsight logo. This logo is what we'll specify as our watermark. We first need to read in this image file, which we do using cbook.getSampleData. We then set up the same subplot grid that we used earlier, but this time the figure level watermark is an image, the Pluralsight image that we just read in. We use the fig.figImage function to set up this watermark. FigImage is the function that we have to call on the figure object in order to set up an image as our watermark, as you see displayed on screen. This takes in the image that we read in using the Matplotlib image library, the other input arguments to the figImage function you're familiar with. What's interesting here is the Z order. The Z order refers to the Z axis, that is the axis which is set to emanate from your screen. A Z order of 3 basically indicates that your Pluralsight image will appear above all the lines and labels in your figure.